we had to manually go through every single line of code to understand what this line of code is doing and probably why it is doing. Nowadays, AI tools with the introduction of AI agents can do so many things themselves. Then you initially have to spend a lot of time in, let's say, going through some documentation or let's say searching the code base yourself. That's where these tools comes very handy. What these AI tools now, like something like Copilot, can do is it can actually raise a follow-up pull request which will have the remaining 20% of the test cases. You can review it and get it merged. So agree or not, in the last 2 years, the complete landscape of the coding efforts that were done in the software engineering field has changed a lot after the introduction of so many AI tools all around. Nowadays, we don't have to spend a lot of time doing Stack Overflow on specific syntactical issues. Like I still remember the time where for figuring out JavaScript functions, Java related functions, we had to do a lot of, let's say, Googling, figuring out a lot of articles, etc. After the introduction of AI tools, all of these things have changed. Majority of the software engineers, everybody knows, nowadays actually depend on these prompts that they have to put, and the basic code is technically written by the AI tools, and then people actually try to review it, tweak it, and optimize it. And the same thing is actually done by me as well. So I really love a lot of AI tools, and I thought, why not make a video on the fact that, like, as a software engineer, what are the different AI tools I majorly use and what specific places I use them for, right? So this is kind of like an interesting thing, because I believe as a software engineer, there are so many different applications of these AI tools and they help you to improve your productivity a lot. So this is something that I wanted to talk about in this video. So without any further ado, let's just start. But before starting the video, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing, because we are going to put some really awesome content coming up ahead regarding tech and career in tech. Also, check out the channel of Algocamp, where we are putting some dedicated lectures on data structures and algorithms on so many important topics. Do check that out as well. So before we start this particular video, I wanted to actually talk about a very small thing. So this video is going to actually help you understand a real system design interview scenario. We are going to try to mimic a 45 to 60 minute kind of like a round where we are going to solve a problem very similar to how you will solve a similar system design problem in this short time frame. Now, of course, when you work as a software engineer in a company, you have relatively larger amount of time and you can do a lot of more deep dives in even very small level features. But in an interview, the temperament is different, the approach is different, and a similar scenario is actually explained in this particular video. So do consume the content based on that. Also, if you want to see more deep dives and want to understand these topics in a much more deeper level concepts, then do check out the link in the description section below for our System Design 2.0 cohort, where we have talked about a lot more concepts in a lot more detail, which will make you definitely a better software engineer. So let's just start the video. So see, AI tools are not just about auto-completing your code. Nowadays, AI tools with the introduction of AI agents can do so many things themselves. They can create an end-to-end service altogether, test it end-to-end, install the I would say all the dependencies, write unit tests, do the manual testing, and a lot. So the first and the foremost use in my day-to-day, I would say, world also comes with respect to coding agents through tools like Cursor, Copilot, etc. Right? In a lot of big tech companies, they have their internal proprietary tools as well, but you can easily map them with something like Cursor. So I really use Cursor to ensure that at any point of time, let's say if I have to write unit test. Now the interesting thing about unit test is that in unit test, you have to test every single branch of your function. Now, if you have certainly set up the unit test properly, that means all the dedicated mocks are ready, then all you have to do is just three things: arrange, act, and assert. If the arrange part is already done, then all you have to do is act and assert. Then this act and assert part can be very easily handled by the autocomplete in these coding agents, right? You just have to figure out one test case and all the remaining test cases are already done by these coding agents, because you just have to change the corresponding conditions. And in fact, a lot of times to even set up the mocks, set up the overall unit test, set up the integration test, these coding agents help a lot. Apart from that, I really use them to actually test a lot of APIs. So a lot of time what happens is in actual production code bases, the APIs are not very simple, right? For example, for a very simple thing, the payload of the API can be very, very complex. what I ask these coding agents to help me figure out what are the different dedicated set of properties I need to pass as the payload, and also give me an example input that we can actually use. This is kind of like a very interesting thing that you can do with these particular AI tools. Apart from that, for let's say any kind of like front-end related coding where you do not have to make a very beautiful, very complex front-end. Instead, you have to make a front-end of let's say some kind of like a dashboard, which is more used for let's say just simple CRUD purposes, and the actual logic, the core heavier logic is on the back-end side. Then for these kind of front-end efforts, the coding tools like Cursor are a real game changer. They give you all the basic relevant things in the front end, and of course you can actually tweak them a lot. The best part that I like is because in bigger code bases, you have to search a lot of things, because let's say if you want to make something as simple as like a modal, of course you know that somebody else might already be having a modal created which the complete organization is using. Then you initially have to spend a lot of time in let's say going through some documentation, or let's say searching the code base yourself. That's where these tools comes very handy, because what you can do is you can use these coding AI agents and it will automatically search the components for you as well, and then integrate them in your particular code base. So that is definitely a very interesting application coming up. Now, trust me on the fact that when you make personal projects, the overall business logic of those projects is not that complex. But that thing straight away changes when you go to a production code in any particular company. Let's say if you are in a fintech firm, right? If let's say you are in some social media firm, if you are an e-commerce firm, anywhere you go, the business logic becomes extremely complex for very simple things as well. That's where these tools play a very important role. Earlier, let's say in 2020, 2021, we had to manually go through every single line of code to understand what this line of code is doing and probably why it is doing. Nowadays, we don't have to do that. You can just give a function to the AI tools and then they explain you the complete business logic. So it's more like reading the logic as it's written in English, right? You don't have to like specifically read every single line of code, and you can specifically try to understand what matters to you. What I've seen is that in let's say very big code bases, these AI tools are very easily capable of reading the complete flow which you are actually looking for and tell the complete end-to-end set of modules that are involved in this flow. This saves my time a lot as a software engineer, because a lot of time there are code bases that I have never interacted with, I never contributed to, and now I have to make changes to. So to do those things, the context that these AI tools provides is very good, right? It saves drastic amount of time for us. Apart from that, even let's say when you have to write any design document, let's say if you have to read any design document, if you have to read any business documents, business requirements, then also they summarize a lot of things for you. You will be able to understand a lot of things that you are let's say not aware of, and they try to give you the context of those things. For example, let's say if you are in a fintech firm, there are a lot of financial terminologies, there are a lot of financial compliances that let's say you're not already aware of, and the document states that and you want to get a deeper understanding of it. This is where these AI tools also help you a lot. Instead of you doing a Google search and actually trying to read about those things, these tools like let's say Cursor and even let's say tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, right, Perplexity, they help you a lot in doing those research as well, right? So that is kind of like a very important use case that I'm able to find, at least as a software engineer, because as a software engineer, it's not like your 100% of the time goes in the coding effort. Your 60 to 70% of the time goes in understanding business requirement, clarifying business requirements, making the design discussions and design decisions, and then only the 30% part goes in the final coding and the execution part. So improving the overall productivity and efficiency in this 60 to 70% part in using these AI tools is very good. I really use ChatGPT, Perplexity a lot, and whenever I have to get context on the code base, Cursors based coding AI agents is something that I go for. Now, one very important thing that goes in design documents, in engineering design documents, is diagrams, right? You have to do sequence diagrams, flow diagrams, and whatnot. The best part is we have a tool called as Mermaid, right? It's a free tool available online. And the best part is tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity can write Mermaid flow code, and you can just take that code, paste it on Mermaid, and get the complete flowchart altogether. So now making diagrams is like something like a 30-second effort, and maybe even less than that. If you have already given the complete context of what the flow should look like, these AI tools make such good and clean diagrams, and with tools like Mermaid, it becomes very easy. Of course, if you have to make some custom diagrams, I use something like Excelli Draw to manually make those diagrams whenever I believe that there is a lot of complexity that I cannot directly present. But for simple sequence diagrams, flow diagrams, this is definitely a game changer. Now, an interesting thing that happened with me in Microsoft was my interactions with Copilot. So Microsoft integrated Copilot such deeply into the system that, let's say if you're in a meeting and let's say you joined the meeting a bit late, and if Copilot has been enabled in that meeting, you can get catch up that, okay, what has already happened in the meeting. If let's say you attended a complete 1 hour, let's say KT video, knowledge transfer video, and now you want to recall something, then you can just go to Copilot and start asking questions and start figuring out what actually was the summary, what were the kind of like minutes of the meeting, what are the takeaway things that you have to, let's say, work on, what are the to-dos, etc. The complete communication, you don't have to like remember. The AI tool, you can just go prompt and get the idea from that. So understanding and summarizing communication, not just in videos and video calls, but also in chat. Sometimes what happens is that, let's say you are in India and the US team in the, I would say in their time zone, do a lot of conversation, and that you have to get a catch up on. Or let's say you are new in the team, you do not understand a lot of conversation that is happening because of the lack of business context. That's again when these kind of like AI tools really help in summarizing the group conversations to ensure that you are actually able to understand every single nitty-gritty details. Apart from that, let's say there are a lot of documents, there are sometimes a lot of spreadsheet, which you have to understand that, okay, how exactly this particular thing is working, what are the business requirements, what are the details on these requirements. Then nowadays Gemini is integrated in Google Docs and Sheets, right? You can ask prompt questions to Gemini and it will be able to summarize things for you, explain things for you and whatnot. Similar kind of integration was there with Copilot in document services given by Microsoft. So this was kind of like a very interesting game changer. Plus, apart from this, some really important and I would say short efforts which used to take some time is also now reduced. For example, writing PR descriptions. Like I know writing good PR descriptions definitely take 5 to 10 minutes. But nowadays with AI tools, you can write very elaborate and detailed AI descriptions, like PR descriptions, and you have to spend, let's say, like 10 seconds. Just give the prompt and it will generate PR descriptions for you. Apart from that, a lot of companies, including Google, Microsoft, etc., have integrated AI tools for PR reviews as well. So let's say if there is some like basic level of PR reviews in terms of, let's say, good code qualities, better engineering, linting efforts, etc., all of that is already done by the AI tools. So the engineers have to just focus on the review of the business logic part. That is a very, very interesting thing to do. Plus, apart from that, let's say a lot of times what these tools are also capable of doing is, let's say you made a flow, you wrote test cases of that flow. But let's say you only covered 80% of the test cases, maybe because of any reason you were not able to cover the remaining 20%. What these AI tools now, like something like Copilot, can do is it can actually raise a follow-up pull request which will have the remaining 20% of the test cases. You can review it and get it merged. So this is kind of like an end-to-end flow integration in the software engineering efforts, and tools like Copilot, ChatGPT are very good in that. So I use a lot of Cursor, Copilot in all of these coding effort, PR efforts, etc., and also summarizing conversation. Gemini is something that I really go forward with in order to summarize all the documents, spreadsheets, etc. For any research, I use ChatGPT, Perplexity, and of course, whenever I have to do my office work, there are corresponding AI tools proprietary to the company that I correspondingly switch to. For example, in case of Microsoft, it was majorly Copilot for a lot of things, but Copilot more optimized for coding efforts was separate than the Copilot that was there for summarizing meetings. So all of these AI tools together has increased productivity a lot. The amount of code that people used to write in like 2 days, nowadays people are writing in like 2 hours. So the churn of code is very high. Of course, you have to keep a very vigilant eye in order to make sure that the code written is not bad, it's not like performing badly, but also like the mundane code, the very rigid and the regular code is getting generated very easily. Yet what I believe is, for tasks where you have to do performance optimizations, like let's say you have to do memory optimization, you have to do time optimizations, that's where still you need to put your engineering effort, your engineering brain, because that's not the deeper level context that AI tools generally are able to figure out. But overall, if I would say if my productivity is getting increased by more than 40%, I am all in and I am using all of these tools extremely heavily in my day-to-day work. So maybe I missed some AI tools that you feel are very much interesting. Let me know in my comment section below what other AI tools you use for your day-to-day software engineering perspective and software engineering works. I would be really happy to explore all of them. But whatever tools I told, these are some of my go-to tools that I regularly use without a fail. That being said, let's wrap this particular video here. We're going to meet soon in the next set of videos where we are going to talk about more topics around tech and your career in tech. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. I'm Sanket Singh, signing off.